Hey guys, SGD here. So now that EB01 has been fully shown, I thought I'd take the time to talk about the clans in the set, my take on them, and the cards that stick out. I'm going to start with Spike Brothers, as it's the one I feel the strongest emotions towards. Spike Brothers leaves me very conflicted. On the one hand, I can see potential. On the other hand, I dislike what they are right now, and am quite miffed at what Bushiroad did to them. I think it's best to tackle the elephant in the room first. Spike Brothers does not play like Spike Brothers anymore. It plays more like something akin to Neonectar or Gold Paladin. It's no longer this unique OTK rush deck it once was. Instead, it uses effects to shift cards out of the deck and use their on-call abilities. The only real difference between this and its predecessors, because the jury is still out on whether they are contemporaries or not, is that Spike cycles the same card to set off its own on-call ability, whereas Gold and Neonectar search a small amount from the top of the deck for a different card. Unless Gold Paladin and Neonectar are radically different, I don't know why we needed this. I've heard people make the argument that Spikes, being like they originally were, would have broken things with the current paradigm, but I really don't see it. I don't see how it'd be terribly different from V-Nova Grappler. Maybe it would have blurred lines too much for Bushiroad's tastes, as you would have a Force clan that operates like an Excel. But in my opinion, that just brings up the idea that maybe the gifts weren't well distributed. Then we have the grade 3 in general. Jugs is a support card, so he gets a pass. Though I question why he has a gift marker when he's pretty much rear material only, over giving Spikes a quality cheaper boss. Unite Attacker is a weird, bizarre combination of a stabilizer and a finisher, but the game is too fast for a stabilizer like him. And how he's trying to finish the game just really isn't good enough compared to basically anything else that can be compared to him, even in combination with Bracky and Jugs. I don't actually think Unite Attacker is slow, however. An additional 3 soul over the base 4 is perfectly doable with how Spikes work, even if you use Spike Bouncer, which does cost soul. Then we have General Seafried. I still maintain that the active Seafried is his only good part, and it is good. It synergizes with the on-call abilities, what's not to like, but the on-hit was undeserving of a main boss's main offensive force, and can very easily fizzle while your opponent has open damage. This leads me to my gut feelings on Spike Brothers. I think from the neck down, Spikes are good. I felt that as soon as I saw Spike Bouncer. It's a great card, very much in theme of one of my favourites, the original Aglavale, and helps Spikes start momentum. Bracky, Wonderboy, Black Panther, Gyro Slinger, even Garrett Cannon and Tight White End, all great cards. Spikes have power, pluses, recurrence, filter. There is nothing not to like from the neck down. What is wrong is they have nothing to capitalize on them. Unite Attacker is probably the closest, but it feels incredibly lackluster compared to Soul Saver Dragon. If you manage to win with Spikes, it's only because of the neck down and maybe Seafried's act. To be really honest, I'd say if Spikes interest you, invest. Just don't spend much on Seafried because he will be replaced with the second round of support. I can see Spikes getting really good as soon as they have something to capitalize on them. Mega Colony is interesting because it doesn't really feel like itself either, but it's not so far as removed as Spike Brothers. I feel I talked about this when I discussed Spark Hercules, but I'll go over it again. Mega Colony's main claim to fame and its main identity was stun. Well, that's true of the anime and the card game. In the manga, Mega Colony has the swarm from the soul mechanic. Mega Colony has more of a focus on the manga's swarm capabilities, but both keeps a little bit of stun and introduces new aspects to Mega Colony. But a little bit on stun before I go on. Nasty Smog is about the only stun you'll use. Honestly, close to the only one too. But it's a really good card. I really like it. It's both a static stun for the back row and stops the front from intercepting. It doesn't stop a column from attacking, but does really restrict how your opponent plays their cards unless they want to replace things, at which point you're winning. However, the most interesting thing about Mega Colony is that it doesn't really have an identity beyond screwing around with your opponent. It does a whole heap of things to achieve it, but that's its only real identity. It has the little bit of stun in Nasty Smog, it has grade 3 searching to get more protect gifts, it has some Silent Tom type shenanigans, it has calling from the soul to plus, and it has ways to debuff over 2 turns. It doesn't really seem like Mega Colony meshes well or has any cohesion, because it really doesn't, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work. The individual members all add to a much more tactical and capable whole. It saves a lot of shields and pressures the opponent hard, consistently. It's honestly my gut instinct instinct that Mega Colony is one of the stronger clans at the moment. They just impress me that much. Then we have Tachikaze. I'll be the first to say, I didn't expect Tachikaze to turn out well. Then it turns out to look like a barrel of fun. It's highly interactive between your units, pluses, brings superpower, and while it may not have that much use with the Excel Circle, Excel just ends up being another tool for Tachikaze. Actually, this makes these power buffs worth it because you can actually drain more resources, and with the draw, both fueling the Excel Circle and surviving isn't a problem. The direct damage of Gigarex also plays into this high power and the 4 attacks because it can get to where 4 strong attacks actually means something quicker. Tachikaze stayed the closest to its original form of the 3 clans in this booster. It's pretty much just a souped up version of the original. Tachikaze, at least in the original era, always had issues of being underpowered, lacking consistently, pointless winning images, and living in the shadow of Shadow Paladin. This Tachikaze has enough redundancy, doesn't aim for an ultimately pointless winning image, feels strong, is fairly different from what Shadow Paladin has traditionally been with the new gauge mechanic and how it is now eating more on the rear guard. I think this is a great turn for the clan. It conserves their identity and expands it to make it work. But Tachikaze also ultimately does what I wanted from an Excel clan and honestly didn't expect from Tachikaze. It pluses. This is what I felt Excel needed to get anywhere over Nova Grappler's continuous stand stuff. Without playing it, I'm not sure how much it actually pluses over net zeros, but I'd imagine at least a raw +2, which should be enough to make a difference. But it does minus the opponent too. I can see enjoying this, and I'd wager it's a far sight more powerful than Spark Brothers and Nova Grappler at the very least. We'll see how close my gut instincts are to reality as soon as we get to play things in the coming weeks, but I'm really looking forward to it and hope to start preparing videos soon. This has been Some Gamer Dude, and I'll see you guys next video.